Television at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Let's check in straight on Wall Street, where stock futures are looking like a tired of September on Friday and looking forward to the new month of October. Ahead of today's open, the major futures indices were looking for direction. After unsurprising Fed rate hike decision on Wednesday, you see the data from the three major indices, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 futures, and the Nasdaq futures on your TV screen. Dinner time in Asia right now. The market is largely negative today on the back of the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's comments on inflation after the central bank decided to hike interest rates. The Nikkei 225 in Japan ended the trading day lower, almost 1%. The ASX 200 in Australia slipped about 0.2%. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong was slightly better. Let's look at that's about 0.3%. Lower, I beg your pardon, and the Shanghai Composite down 0.54%. So that might just be light at the end of the tunnel for telecommunications giant MTN Nigeria, who has been having a running battle with Nigeria's financial regulator over allegations that the company illegally repatriated $8.13 billion out of the country. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele dropped this hint of what he called a silver lining while addressing global investors at the Zenith Global Economic Forum in New York, in the United States. Mr. Emefiele says MTN Nigeria has been working with the examiners to address some of the concerns that led to the August 28 directives with a view to an amicable resolution. Let's take a listen.
There is no how you will say that you want to entirely focus on price and monetary stability when you are in an economy where there is a lot of, we call it infrastructure deficit. You need to finance agriculture. You need to think about how do you provide jobs for your people. You are not going to sit down and begin to just talk about inflation, price stability, and stuff like that. So that is why you will find that a responsible governor of a central bank in a developing economy will naturally focus on issues like this that border on developing the economy and lifting the level of poverty or improving the level of poverty in the country, and then creating jobs for our people.
Thank you.
Now, on the MTN issue, I think I might as well address it. And I had said it, and I keep repeating it, that MTN was not in any way targeted. There were issues, and when issues come up, and examiners go into a bank, and they find issues that they need to delve into in more detail, we allow them do so. There were a couple of issues that bordered on not obtaining the final authorization that is needed to remit money out of the country. And I think it's important that we understand that people must obey the extant rules and regulations that border on foreign exchange, in this case, for the country. But the summary that I'd like to provide on the MTN matter is this, that this matter started almost about 2.5 years ago. There were a couple of the issues that we thought we could deal with, and we dealt with them and granted them the waiver that we thought they needed. It's not as if they didn't do anything wrong, but we said, yes, these were not the right things, but because this is a responsible company doing well, so they don't see themselves as being targeted, let's allow this matter go. But there was the main issue of remitting money without final authorization and large sums of money, and we thought that is something that we needed to look at. But the important matter is that as a regulator, I had operated for 27 years as an operator. I never had an opportunity as a regulator calling me and calling my customer into a room and saying, you guys resolve this matter. When this matter broke, I had my doubts about the size or the quantum of the funds being talked about. And I called in MTN into a room. I called in the 4 banks into a room, sitting with over 25 examiners in a room, because I doubted the numbers that the examiners came up with. And I said, guys, let's resolve this. At a point, I would say that I was seen as siding with MTN and the banks, because I was pleading with them to provide all the documentation that were needed to convince the exam. If you understand the way examiners work, if there are 20 examiners, each of them carry their laptops.
Governor of Nigeria's central bank, Godwin Emefiele, on the MTN saga. So the International Monetary Fund is forecasting 8.5% economic expansion for Ethiopia in the July 2018 to June 2019 period. That's higher from 7.5% previously forecast. The IMF explains in its first assessment since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took office last April that Ethiopia was benefiting from easing uncertainty and improved domestic and foreign investment. The Abiy has signed a peace deal with neighboring Eritrea, lifting a state of emergency and promised to partially open up the government-dominated economy by attracting foreign capital to the state telecoms company and the airline. Meanwhile, the World Bank has approved $80 million in grants to Somalia to fund public finance reforms, making it the first disbursement to the government of the conflict-ridden country in 30 years. The Washington-based lender had suspended ties with the country when war broke out in 1991, but resumed support for Somalia in 2003. The bank is also ready to work with the government in Mogadishu to improve services like education and healthcare, access to clean water, energy, and finance for the citizens under a program called Country Partnership Framework. When we come back after the break, we're checking out with Nigeria's rice production. Why do we have so much imported rice? Do we have an end in sight? Well, that's what we're talking about in part 2 of the program.